11. Queens held real political power, not just ceremonial roles. The word queen conjures images of a king's consort, a ceremonial figure whose power is limited to the throne room. But ancient Egyptian queens, or great royal wives, weren't just passive consorts. They were active participants in politics, acting as co-regents, advisors, or rulers in their own right. In times of crisis or contested succession, they stepped into the pharaoh's shoes, proving that true power lay not in gender, but in one's ability to lead. And now for number 10. But first, I want to give a big shout out to some supporters. Thanks so much for supporting this channel. If you are new here, be sure to join the family. 2. Hatchepsuit. The queen who became pharaoh when you think of powerful female leaders. Names like Cleopatra and Elizabeth I might spring to mind. But how about Queen Hatchepsuit? Ruling Egypt around 1478 to 1458 BC, she was arguably one of Egypt's most powerful rulers, displaying steely determination and political acumen rarely seen before or since. Hatchepsuit declared herself pharaoh, donned a false beard, and was immortalized in statues, not as a woman but as a man. Over 3,500 years ago, she broke gender norms and shattered expectations, leaving an indelible mark on history. 3. Nefertiti was likely a curler, not just a beauty icon. Millions know her as the enigmatic beauty of the famous bust, but Queen Nefertiti's story goes beyond her sculpted visage. Wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten? She might have been more than just a pretty face. Recent studies suggest that her iconic head, with its elongated neck and serene expression, was modeled after a real person, perhaps even Nefertiti herself. Furthermore, her close association with the pharaoh and the presence of her name in royal inscriptions indicate a significant role in governance, while the true extent of her power remains shrouded in mystery. The Giza Plateau Museum's bust serves as a constant reminder of her enduring legacy. 4. Some queens were divine figures. While many believe ancient Egypt was solely a patriarchal society, it had its fair share of strong female figures. Queens like Isis and Hathor weren't just deities representing fertility, motherhood, and protection. They also served as symbolic models for real-life queens, highlighting their role as earthly representations of these divine qualities. For instance, Queen Nefertari was not only a ruler, but also an embodiment of the goddess Hathor, emphasizing the spiritual significance placed upon the queenly figure in Egyptian culture. 5. Cleopatra II was the last active pharaoh of Egypt, often portrayed as a femme fatale in history books and movies. Cleopatra VII is remembered as a seductress rather than the powerful ruler she was. But don't be fooled by the myths. Cleopatra was a force to be reckoned with. Fluent in 9 languages, she was a skilled diplomat and naval commander. Her strategic brilliance led to victories against Roman rivals. But despite her talents, she's often remembered as a tragic figure. Cleopatra's story serves as a stark reminder of how historical narratives often overlook the achievements of women in positions of power, reducing them to mere footnotes in a man's world. 6. Royal bloodlines were passed through women. Egyptian queens held a significant role in politics, but their influence went beyond the confines of the palace walls. In many Egyptian dynasties, including the 18th dynasty, the legitimacy of a pharaoh came through his mother, rather than his father. This meant that queens had considerable dynastic influence, pulling strings from behind the throne and ensuring the continuation of their bloodline. One example of this was Queen Ahmose, whose son Ahhotep I was considered the first king of the 18th dynasty. Even though he was the one who held the title of pharaoh, he was merely a figurehead while his mother Ahmose ran the empire. 7. Queens were buried with riches and rituals. Egyptians believed that the afterlife was just an extension of life on Earth. So when it came to burying their dead, especially the queens, they spared no expense. Queenly tombs like that of Nefertari were designed to provide the deceased with everything they might need in the afterlife, from luxury goods to religious texts. These elaborate burial chambers also contained their own temples, demonstrating the wealth and importance of these women. Tiye was the first queen to be depicted at the same size as the pharaoh. Depictions of women in ancient Egypt were often fraught with symbolism. Generally, women were shown smaller than men, signifying their subordinate status. However, one queen broke this mold literally. Queen Tiye, the wife of Ahhotep III, was depicted in artwork at the same size as her husband, the pharaoh. This was a radical move, symbolizing her political and spiritual importance and challenging traditional gender roles. The fact that she was shown equal to her male counterpart in size and stature underscores the significance of her role in Egyptian society. 9. Some queens were warriors and military leaders. Ahhotep I, an Egyptian queen of the 15th century BC, was a warrior who led her armies into battle against invaders. Despite societal expectations that relegated women to domestic roles, Ahhotep defied the odds and carved her name in history as a fierce military leader. Buried with weapons and medals, she became a symbol of courage and strength, proving that gender was no barrier to greatness. Her story challenges conventional narratives about ancient Egypt and broadens our understanding of the roles women played in ancient civilizations. 10. Queen Ankhesenamun was married to King Totand, possibly more. Ankhesenamun's story is one of intrigue and political maneuvering. After the untimely death of King Tut, she wed his half-brother Ai in a bid to secure her position. But her story doesn't end there. Following the ascent of Horemheb to the throne, Ankhesenamun sent a letter to the Hittite king seeking a husband. This desperate move revealed the precarious situation of Egypt's royal family and her own vulnerability as a woman in a patriarchal society. However, her final resting place remains a mystery, adding to the enigma surrounding this remarkable queen. 11. Royal women were key to religious ceremonies. In ancient Egypt, queens weren't just political partners, they were also religious figures. Queens served as high priestesses, overseeing ceremonies and rituals that ensured the fertility of the Nile and the prosperity of the kingdom. They were the link between the gods and the pharaoh, embodying the divine right to rule. Their presence elevated religious events, making them integral to maintaining social order and cosmic harmony. 12. Some queens ruled from the shadows. While some queens like Hatchepsuit ruled openly, others preferred to operate behind the scenes. Tiye, the mother of Amenhotep III, is a prime example. Although she wasn't technically a queen consort, she held immense sway over her son, acting as regent during his reign. She used her position to amass wealth and influence, amassing treasures that would put any modern queen bee to shame. Her story highlights the various ways women could wield power in ancient Egyptian society. 13. Depictions were rewritten or erased by successors. In the annals of history, certain successors have been known to rewrite or erase the legacies of their predecessors. Hatchepsuit, one of Egypt's most powerful female rulers, faced such a fate. Upon ascending to the throne, her stepson, Thutmose III, embarked on a campaign to erase her memory. He chiseled out her images from temple walls and monuments, a practice known as damnatio memoria, effectively attempting to blot her out of history. It wasn't until modern archaeologists rediscovered her magnificent temple that Hatshepsut's story resurfaced, reminding us of the lengths some will go to in the pursuit of power and the tenacity of the human spirit in the face of oppression. Thanks for watching. Which of these hidden Egyptian queens did you find the most fascinating? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you next time.